Hello, this is Warpath 1985 speaking, and in day 3 of the 12 Days of War, I shall be discussing the Mattel Creations Master Universe Origins Night Stalker and Master Universe Origins Jitsu. Now, the Night Stalker is most interesting because unlike other vehicles that were released in the original toy line, the Night Stalker was one of the few that weren't actually animated within the Filmation cartoon, and wouldn't get a single bit of animation until very recently when the Kevin Smith show, the Master Universe Revelations, came out, in which Faker, disguised as, obviously, He-Man, snuck into Castle Grayskull with a Night Stalker, pretending to have captured Skeletor. And that was pretty much it when it comes to Night Stalker's role in general media, because Night Stalker, the vehicle / animal, hasn't really appeared in anything else from what I've seen. Maybe in some appearances here and there in the mini comics, and maybe some other comic books and storybooks here and there, similar to how the characters like Snakeman most of them didn't really appear in the She-Ra Filmation series, but mostly appeared in other storybooks and etc. that were released around the same time, and especially in the 2000X series, with occasional appearances and kind of ish appearances in Revelations and the He-Man and the Master Universe TV show CGI reboot that was what was it? On Netflix. There we go. Of course, alongside that, Jitsu has only appeared in a few episodes of Master Universe Filmation cartoon series, other bits of media here and there. And also, Jitsu is unique in so alongside with the Night Stalker is that both of them are technically rivals to another character, similar to Skeletor and He-Man, and also technically in some media here and there, Teela and Evil Lyn. On some occasion here and there, intermix in between whoever, Beastman and the good old Man at Arms, or Man at Arms. Besides that, the figures that are associated with this is just in general Night Stalker and Jitsu, who are mostly just paired up because, if you don't know, most of the time, the Night Stalker is, you can tell, just a simple recolor of the Strider, which was released 2 years ago. And if you don't know, also, the Strider is mostly associated with, of course, Fisto. And as you can see, both of them are obviously rivals, not only both of them being masters of their respective martial arts, but also just in general having the same exact steed to use in battle, even down to like their armor being very similar as well, only being slightly different on both of them, or technically between them, with Jitsus being a lot more ornate and Fisto's being a lot more, I should describe it, knightly. It's kind of the best way to properly describe it. Besides that, unlike Fisto, Jitsu actually has a vacuumized chopping hand. And also, I'd like to mention this again, in the Filmation cartoon, Jitsu was called, he was like a chopper. Not particularly sure why. Also, there's another character named, I believe it was like Long Arm, or maybe also Pot Chopper, but they have it here. A similar situation with that character where Fangor and Beastman had the same like general thing, but I should know it's Fangor is Fangman, had the same general gimmick where they controlled beast animals, Chopper and Jitsu. I believe it was Chopper, or maybe it was like long arm, can't remember. Basically had the same general power, having a single arm that was used for general actions, similar to Fisto. And Mania, etc. Obviously they've seen together fighting against each other, yada yada. In general, they've been seen a lot. Besides that, the figure of Jitsu is pretty much your standard Master Universe Origins figure construction, where it simply uses mostly hinges and ball joints for most of the joints across the figure. Mostly hinged elbows, hinged shoulders, ball joints at the head. More as a dumbbell joint, a swivel and hinged wrist, a swivel chopping arm, which is somewhat hard to do, but on occasion is easy to move around. A pretty decent kick, a pretty poor back, and a decent knee bend, mostly almost 9 degrees, a thigh cut, a ankle rocker, and ankle hinge. In general, it's a pretty simple figure. The armor is removable like most Master Universe Origins and general Master Universe armor bits, or general armor pieces. And also, technically so is the whole body, since it is Master Universe Origins, and customization is put on like the big thing with it, which is pretty cool. Besides that, both Fisto and Jitsu are unique, since we did have a weird peek at what they're kind of supposed to be done. Goes with their gimmick, because with the Mr. T figure, I believe it was Mr. T, yes it was Mr. T, Mr. T figure released in the Master Universe, the Masters of the WWE Universe, he came with a fist and a chopping armor gauntlet, however, a gauntlet basically. And this kind of gives a general estimation how both of these would be done in the Origins toy line, but this was only just thrown aside, and we just got like the normal chopping and punching hand of Jitsu and Fisto. A section of the video that I almost forgot, I generally missed whilst editing this segment, is the accessories and the parts that were eventually reused for Jitsu. Now, Jitsu obviously is mostly unique. He at the time had a exclusive chest plate, and in general, that was mostly it. Obviously, as you can tell, some of his parts were used, but mostly, especially not his chopping hand, which was not reused. But his katana was. His katana was reused, and also is technically reused of the previous katana that was released with Ninjor in a silver. I believe it was like a silver or a light half diamond gray. I couldn't quite remember because I don't own the figure yet. But it is in this transparent neon orange. Or the sword is cast in that color. It looks quite nice, especially in the figure's hand. But other than that, it's just a simple recolor. Other than that, it will be used a couple more times with, in this case, Space Sumo, in a very similar color to Ninja's, but is ever so slightly different in shade. I believe it will also be reused for I believe Leonardo in the Turtles of Grayskull series, and obviously with Samurai, which will be recolored in I believe ice blue or navy blue, can't quite remember. Obviously it's not the first time this happens in the Origins toy line, nor will be the last, obviously, as I mentioned beforehand. His rival Fisto reuses Triclops' sword, which is somewhat inaccurate and also technically is best to describe it problematic, because this is not technically Triclops' sword necessarily, nor is it also Fisto's. It's a weird amalgamation to both of them for the original toy line, but obviously you can tell that they're just the same sword, just cast in different colors. otherwise, basically just different when it comes to color. Aside from that, when it comes to Fisto, his chest plate is a reuse of Clamsham's, because Clamsham was released much earlier when compared to what's it called again? Jitsu. There you go. Whereas released much earlier for his sword to be reused for Ninjor, I believe, because Ninjor's sword is reused from him. Aside from that, from the original toy line, that is, obviously, I'm trying to focus on here, but it's kind of a little wonky. There we go. Jitsu's chest plate will be used for King Randor's, similar to the original toy line, other general toy lines of Master Universe. It looks okay in both versions, but other than that, it's just a simple reuse in a slightly different shade of red. Aside from that, that's all for this general segment of the video. It would just be interjected or just cut into the video. Nothing really special. I just wanted to mention that because I realized that for different. We talk about the accessories, but yeah, that's mostly it. Back to review. The mini comic that was included with Jitsu was the Challenge of Jitsu mini comic. It depicts the general fight against Jitsu that is fought between Stratos, He-Man, and Buzz-Off, who were all available during this time. Which is pretty cool. You see here in the back all the figures that are released back in 2022. You also see, as I mentioned, the Sorceress back there as well, which is when we actually got a year later the cartoon version of Sorceress, which is super interesting. This wave was released a couple months earlier, before 2022, so that means some of the stores like Walmart and Target did receive it a little bit early, which is pretty cool. In my case, I did get it during that general early phase. I did get the other figures a little bit later, but otherwise, it's really cool on the main comic. Nothing really else to say. Besides from that, back to the review. Similar to the stable that was included with the Strider, the Night Stalker stable / baseplate is obviously supposed to be a piece of the floor that is part of the Snake Mountain playset. Of course, it is able to also connect with it by sliding into the playset similarly to the Strider, but since I don't own the Origins version of the Snake Mountain playset, I obviously cannot show that. But it is pretty neat of a stable, unlike compared to the Strider version. It uses the universal peg instead of the more circular cylindrical peg that was included with, or is used primarily and only with the Strider, as this peg / port system was never used ever again. It was never ever really have and has since been used with only the Strider, but not with any future vehicle / playsets, not really playsets, but more or less just creatures. And this is a good example of that. Besides that, the Night Stalker is unique is technically somewhat unique when it's compared to the Strider, where it has a slightly shorter ring. It's just ever so slightly shorter when it comes to length. I'm not really sure as to why, but it is in general somewhat strange. But it just functions the same way as compared to the original Strider, where it's just can be easily be removed and also plugged into the what's it called again? The word escapes me. The spring-loaded mouthpiece. There you go. And also, you just generally works something like that. It's just okay. But I don't know. It is somewhat interesting, to say at least. Other than that, the Strider, not Strider again. Keep confusing names, but the Night Stalker has a removable helmet, which is a purple version of the helmet that was included with the Strider. Goes on there. There you go. A purple version of the technically the classic version of the helmet, which has a black I'm getting a brand new name, horn. There we go. I was about to say tusk, but it's called a horn. He also has red versions of the blast effects. I was included with more just orange. I don't know. There's definitely kind of versions on orange on camera, but also red in person. It's unique. But yeah, it just says a reddish orange blast effect here, unlike the blue of the original Strider. It's pretty cool. These blast effects can be swapped out and intermixed with Strider and other vehicles, because it just simply just slide into the guns and not like Transformers blast effects where it actually plug into the guns. Besides that, it has the same exact articulation as the Strider, which is mostly just hinges and very, very loud and tough ratchets. So it has ratcheted hind limbs, but has swivel or technically hinged forelimbs. It's pretty good. Comes with articulation, comes with legs, but it can be very confusing since the ratchets do get in the way when it comes to certain articulation points. But it doesn't really impact the creature, just vehicle, that much. Does have these removable blasters, which can be moved up and down. They do have a tough time plugging in there because the gold paint on certain copies, including mine, can easily seep into the ports and thusly cause it to not necessarily break it, just have a tough time just going in and out of the general port. Has a movable rear turret as well, and finally ball joints at the general head, more just base of the neck, a swivel, and a hinged, it's a ball joint at the upper neck, or the the upper neck, technically, or just general the neck. I don't know. Horse anatomy is very weird, especially ones to worry about. Of course, you can use any sort of Master Universe figure that you have in your collection to seat within the general. Kind of was weird. It's called like a saddle of the Strider / Night Stalker of general mold, but in this case it is a seat. Obviously, since Faker's was also in the or has been used as a operator of the Night Stalker, you can't have him in there like so, which is pretty cool. The only second part is that, unlike the Strider, where it has like a Geldor to kind of like from which to pull out of nowhere for the reason for you didn't get a Strider. From my knowledge, there's no other like type of Geldor character from the main comics for you to want to buy third Night Stalker. I recommend just getting just the two and having one with the Classics helmet for Faker, and the other with the standard helmet with Jitsu. Or unless you want to go full Classics, have like, I don't know, done with Classic helmets. Besides that, you can also have Jitsu, similar to Faker, seat within the saddle / seat of the Strider and hold on to the rings. Yeah, it works quite well. You can also have Skeletor, who is also seen on the box art of the Night Stalker, both on the original and the OG version. Hopefully that was hopefully that was in focus. I don't know. I have a hard time using this camera since recently I had like a little bit of an accident with my hands, so my hands are a little bit janky. That's recent. Besides that, that's all for day 3 of the 12 Days of War. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully I shall see you for day 4.